Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning I bid to everyone. My name is Sarah Abdul Halim. I'm one of the pathologists in the Pathology and Laboratory Medicine Department. So my Tazkirah today will be on would you have had the mercy of Muhammad SAW? So it is very common to accuse the Prophet Muhammad SAW of various atrocities and character flaws that most people accept these allegations as true without investigation. But a study of the historical records revealed three things. So there were an overwhelming number of incidents in the Prophet's life that reveals a foundational character of mercy, justice, and tolerance. And there are also a small number of events that are commonly criticized out of context, and they can be easily resolved with greater explanation. And lastly, it's likely that if we are thrown into the same difficult situation that he was, we would not have reacted half as well. So think about it. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a 7th century messenger from Mecca and imagine what we would do. The Prophet ﷺ and his earliest followers experienced brutal abuse from the Quraysh tribe of Mecca. They demonized him, they tortured the early Muslims, sometimes to death, and then they exiled and starved his entire clan for years on end until they resorted to eating leaves and leather. Despite this extreme prosecution, the Prophet ﷺ remained composed. He continued to invite people to his message. He appeals to the sense of morality and reason, and and he used reason and morality over the use of more destructive use of force. So think about it. If somebody like Utaybah bin Abi Lahab spat at you, beat you unconscious, if Abu Jahal ordered camel intestines to be dunked over you while you prostrated, how would you respond? The Prophet ﷺ responded with perseverance, dignity, optimism, and patience. So, when he responds with optimism, what does he do? Arwa bin Harb followed the Prophet ﷺ around to taunt him Mudaham instead of Muhammad. Mudaham means the dispraised, and his religion we have loathed, and his command we have defied. Then he would simply say to his companions, don't you see how God diverts from me the curses and insults of the Quraysh? They insult Mudaham and they curse Mudamam, while I am Muhammad. So instead of responding with his own insult, as many of us would do if someone shouted personal attack to us, he calmed the situation down, he prevented his companions from responding in anger, and he found optimism even when it seemed impossible. He would also pray for their guidance. For example, Abu Jahal, he was a staunch opponent of Islam, and he inflicted physical and emotional wounds on the Messenger ﷺ. He actually has broken the companions' bones, and he later led the first army against them. However, the Prophet ﷺ still prayed for Abu Jahal's guidance. The Prophet ﷺ used to say in Mecca, "Oh Allah, strengthen Islam with Abu Jahal bin Hisham." So despite Abu Jahal's abuse, arrogance, and murderous intent, the Prophet ﷺ had the compassion to pray for him and to recognize that he has leadership qualities that he could have been used for good. The Prophet ﷺ was also very trustworthy. When he left Mecca, he had many of the persecutors' belongings with him for safekeeping. Aisha radiallahu anhu said he instructed Ali to stay behind in Mecca in order to return all the trust the Messenger of Allah had for people. And he would also choose hope over destruction. For example, he once spent 10 days in the city of Ta'if to convey the message of Islam until the mobs gathered to drive him out. As he left, they shouted obscenities and pelted stones at him until blood ran down his legs. In this state, he narrated, "I am departed, I am overwhelmed with grief." And then the angel Gabriel called out to me saying, "Allah has heard your people, and Allah has sent the angel of the mountains to you that you may order him to do whatever you wish to these people." The angel of the mountains greeted me and said, "O Muhammad, order what you wish, and if you like, I will let the two mountains fall upon them." I said, "No. Rather, I hope that God will bring from their descendants people who will who will worship God alone without associating partners with Him. So you can see there are many, many instances that shows the mercy of the Prophet ﷺ. So as a conclusion, there are many examples throughout the Prophet ﷺ life that demonstrate mercy, humility, and the prioritization of forgiveness over revenge. So imagine if we put ourselves in his shoes, there is a lot of extenuating circumstances that he faced. How would we react? So I think from the short tazkirah, we can all sit back and ponder. We should always be merciful because we are followers of Muhammad ﷺ. With that, thank you.